Shane Van Gisbergen completes his first Oval Cup Series race at Talladega Superspeedway and finishes in 28th on the lead lap. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, Shane Van Gisbergen has officially completed his first NASCAR Cup Series Oval race at Talladega Superspeedway and finishes in 28th. While this was his fourth or fifth career Cup start, I think his fourth career Cup start, if I'm not mistaken, the other three have been on road courses previously. Obviously, one at the Chicago Street Course, finished in the top 10 at the Indy Road Course, and finished, I believe, in 19th or 20th at Dakota after losing some cylinders, if I'm not mistaken, or had a power steering issue that was happening during the race. Shane Van Gisbergen, yes, he finished in 28th, but in my personal opinion, he ran a lot better in this race than where he finished. He was up front at points in this race, struggled at the start, but as the run progressed and as the rust continued on, especially during the green flag, he was continuing to move forward. He was one of the few drivers in the race, in my opinion, that was legitimately trying to make moves and trying to make passes. He tried to create a third lane at points throughout this race. He got up to the outside lane. And especially in the second half of this race, Shane Van Gisbergen even led at points throughout the Cup Series race earlier today and was up front and was inside the top 5 and top 10, I believe, going into the final restart with around 35 to 30 laps to go. Unfortunately, he got drop kicked to the back of the pack, sadly, and lost a ton of ground. And he started to actually, like I said, make his way back up to the front. He got up inside the top 20. He got inside the top 15 and was starting to move forward. And it was actually, like I said, trying to get up to the third lane with around 15 to 20 laps to go. Unfortunately for Shane Van Gisbergen, Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs, which Kyle Busch had a really great run going. All of a sudden, Ty Gibbs, for whatever reason, instead of saying with his Toyota teammates, he tried to be a little desperate and went up to the outside lane, and it just really screwed up the third lane momentum, and all the drivers in the third lane really got screwed over, and that's why Shane Van Gisbergen, instead of finishing potentially inside the top 15 or even the top 10 today, which I realistically think that he was probably going to do in the race today, he sadly ends up finishing outside the top 20 in 28th position. Initially, he had crossed the line in 26th place, but after they did reviewing and scoring today, he finished in 28th. It's a little disappointing of a finish for him, considering I think he ran a lot better in the race today than where he finished. He ran in the majority of his race inside the top 15 and top 20, and like I said a minute ago, he was leading laps and was up front a ton of this event. It was doing an excellent and a really, really good job. But we know how these super speedway races can be. Sometimes you get lucky. Look what happened at Atlanta. He was running about 11th or 12th at Atlanta. In the Xfinity race, he finishes in third position because everyone runs out of gas and he's in the right position at the right time. You go back to Daytona, finished 11th there, ran inside the top 15 a lot of the day, got involved in a couple instances, but he still nearly got a top 10 in his Xfinity Series debut. And I really thought today he was going to have a really good chance and opportunity to finish inside the top 10. The finishes this weekend for him, I don't truly believe reflect how he ran. Yesterday, he finished 22nd in the Xfinity Series race, and I think he ran a lot better than that personally. He had one of the strongest cars in the field. I don't really think he led laps in the Xfinity Series race, but SVG was up front at the end of that event, ran out of gas, and was never truly able to recover, but at least he did get a top 25 and was able to complete all the laps yesterday in the Xfinity Series race. Same thing with today. He got caught up. I think he nearly got caught up in the big incident wreck. It says he finished 5 seconds behind the rest of the field. I wonder if he had a problem at the end of the race. I'm not entirely sure. If anyone knows what happened to SVG and the reason he fell so far back in the end, let me know in the comments, because I don't know how you lose 12 seconds on the last lap of the race unless you're basically running out of gas, which made no sense because they basically everyone came down to pit road. Again, going back to the performance that I saw from him today, I think he did overall a pretty solid and a really, really good job. Now, SVG's next Cup Series race is not going to be till the Coca-Cola 600, which is going to be his first Cup mile-and-a-half race. So now he does have quite a bit of Cup experience, on Xfinity Series, I should say, experience on the mile-and-a-half and the ovals. I think he's overall done a pretty solid and good job so far in his short Cup Series career. And obviously, he needs this Cup Series experience because the ultimate goal for Shane Van Gisbergen going into 2025, we all know that he does want to go Cup Series racing full-time in the 2025 season, because that's what he said recently, I think in a interview on Sack Depends with Corey LaJoie and Ryan Flores. He said he wants to go full-time Cup Series racing in the future. And I think, like I said, the finish does not reflect how he truly run in the race today. And I do think that Shane Van Gisbergen is going to get better as the season goes on, not just in his Select Cup Series starts going forward, but I also think in his full-time races in Xfinity, he's going to get better, and I think he is going to contend for wins on super speedways. Now, I think he's got 2 more super speed races in the Cup Series scheduled. He's going to be in the 16 at Daytona in August near the end of the regular season. And then, of course, he is going to be in that car at Talladega. So he's going to have another opportunity at Talladega later this year, which I think he's going to even do better. And like I said today, he was leading laps and up front. Granted, he had a lot of drivers that were leading today. I think like 20 or 21 different drivers led. Anthony Alfredo led laps at points. I think Bubba Wallace might have led laps, if I'm not mistaken, today. I think Kyle Larson didn't lead a lap, but I think Chase led laps at points. I think over half the field was able to lead. And for Shane Van Gisbergen to lead in 3 of his 4 Cup starts, by the way, I think he led at the Indy Road Course. I think he also led at Circuit Americas, or almost led at COTA. He has been extremely impressive so far up to this point. And again, I know he finished in 28th today, which if you are a Shane Van Gisbergen fan, you're going to be disappointed with the finish. And it is definitely a disappointing finish at the end of the day. But like I said, for him to finish inside the top 30, I think is a very, very solid day. And hey, you know what? He ran up front a lot of the day, led last. I think he led 4 or 5 laps in the race, which is a lot more than some drivers could say in this race today. And while he didn't get to finish it, I truly think he deserved, because like I said, I think he ran a lot better in the race today than where he finished. I think he should be very happy about the performance, and he completed all the laps, and that's ultimately the goal. This is a learning year for Shane Van Gisbergen. This is not a year where he's going out there and trying to contend for victories instantly. He's going out there to learn. He's going out there to complete laps, and the more laps that Shane Van Gisbergen can complete and the more experience he gets, I think it's only going to make him a better driver, especially like I said a few minutes ago, the ultimate goal is to go Cup Series racing full time, and I think he's going to get to improve in Xfinity. I think he will win Xfinity Series races by the end of the year, especially on road courses, which I think the next road course for Xfinity is at Portland, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, he's got some Cup Series races scheduled. That Chicago Street Course weekend, I think he's got a really good chance of sweeping that weekend in 2024, by the way. But I think Shane Van Gisbergen has been extremely impressive so far this season. And I think, once again, finishing inside the top 30 isn't a great finish, but being able to complete every single lap is really, really important for him. I'm glad to see that he was able to finish inside the top 30 in the race today in 28th place. The biggest goal and the most important thing is completing as many laps as possible and trying to be up front and put yourself in position, because he put himself in position today and ran up front quite a bit in this race, which at that point I was very impressed to see him show the kind of potential that he has overall. So that is going to be today's special video on Shane Van Gisbergen. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. Let's go over that and comment your thoughts on today's video. How would you say Shane Van Gisbergen performed today, and do you think he deserved a way better finish than he got in the race today? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Earlier today on the channel, I did a Hailie Deegan video on this channel. I also did a video on the Cup Series race earlier today, Talladega Super Speedway, where drivers like Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and the guy who won the race, Tyler Reddick, and Brad Keselowski. Tomorrow on the channel, I'm having a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple of days. We'll talk more about SVG tomorrow, and we're going to have a lot of other content dropping this week as we get you guys set up and prepared for Dover. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.